Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is Sunday, the 16th of February, 2020. This is episode number 6. How was your week? Mine was significantly better than last week. Better communication, better all around. This is actually my second intro. If you want to see the first intro wherein I had a cat parrot, she's in the window right now. But if you want to see her be a cat parrot, stay tuned to the end. I'll put that footage in there. So yeah, much better week, and it's been a good crafting week. We are in the middle of a break for the kids. It's a 4-day weekend, so that's really nice. I've still been teaching, so I've been working, but they've been home, which is fun. I'm recording right now, super early-ish for me, because we are going snowmobiling today on my dad's property. So I have to get the children up shortly to start getting ready for that. So let's jump into what I've finished. I have a stack of things that I've finished. And they're mostly small things because it's only about a week. So how did I finish a stack of things? And it's not the end of the month yet. I have this. It's not an original idea. I took a pair of headphones and covered them in single crochets with some leftover scrap yarn. And I have a little pouch that the whole headphone cord and everything fits into. The pouch is knitted, the single crochets are crocheted. And this is brilliant because I've been listening to playaways pretty continuously. So yeah, it's just it's a nice little earbud cozy, and and it's working really well for that. This is what I'm listening to right now. Talk about it at the end. I have also finished, yesterday I picked up samples for Joann's for May and June. So there's going to be a coaster class. This is called Granny Square Circles. There is a crochet block that is fillet crochet or fillet crochet. I don't know. And I don't remember what this square is called, but I finished them because crochet is super fast. And also this week, so it was a better week, like communication wise, but crafting wise, my mojo was medium. I wanted to make things, but I didn't want to make any of the things that I had. So I picked up a ball of cotton yarn out of my stash and made dishcloths because we're always out of dishcloths now with 4 children washing dishes in rotation. I don't know how they all get lost, but they do. So I decided I would just make some, and they are different texture. Well, there's 2 different textures. So this one is double crochet through the back loop, and then this is just a circle, not a circle, a square worked from the center out, worked single crochet through the back loop. I have 2 of those, and they're not the same size because I don't really care about them being the same. I just care about them being about my palm size because that's the size of dishcloth I like, and that double crochet one is smaller, whatever. Good enough. Just an easy, mindless thing. And I have another dishcloth going because I started with the very last bit of this ball. And I think I'm going to, I also started this because I was teaching a learn to crochet class, and I didn't want to work on the chain reaction afghan because I just don't like that square. I think I'm just gonna find, I've made squares similar to it in the past. I think I'm just gonna make one of those instead. because I just don't like it. So I set that aside. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not doing it right now. And I worked on those crochet things instead because dishcloths are useful, even though they're not my favorite thing to make. They are useful. I need them, or I need to go out and buy dishcloths, which would be silly because I have a cotton stash. The next finished object is the Tootsie Roll socks, patterned by Lisa K. Ross. I was on the second sock and I had just started the cuff, so I did the whole foot and leg and heel and all of that. I have to say that I like the way this heel looks color-wise better than the way this one looks. I just don't like that these gold stripes are super close together, but these socks are going to either my boyfriend or one of my nephews for Christmas. They're not going to notice. They're not going to care. I didn't even have to match up the socks for them. They wouldn't have noticed, but I would have noticed, and with this pattern, I would have cared. So they're pretty much matching except for the colors on the heels. And I'll talk about this more when I do the wrap up for February, but I have almost used up this entire ball. So these socks are 80 grams of yarn. And I am working today on using the rest of that remnant of yarn up in my scrappy projects because it's Scrappy Sunday. So you'll probably see those when I edit in my modular parade at the end. So Tootsie Roll socks, another Christmas present finished. Oh, and those were knit on US size 0 with Cascade Yarns Heritage Prints. Are you interested in what these yarns are? They're both Lion brand, Thick and Quick, in Pumpkin and Coney Island. I'm going to have 2 more squares for you next week, but those are the knitted squares, and the knitted squares always take a little longer than the crocheted squares. My last finished object of the week is the Turn-A-Square hat. It's a pattern by Jared Flood. The yarn that I used is Lunabud Knits in the Sandpiper Sport TARDIS colorway. Well, that didn't work. There we go. So I have a significant amount of this yarn left over. I don't exactly remember how much, but it's right here. That's a lot. I could make another one of these hats. And I think that I'm going to, because it's pretty cute. And I could either keep it for one of the humans in my life. This is going to my boyfriend. So I could make one, keep it for myself, or use it for the donation item because this is superwash merino, so it's washable. All I had left last week was the crown decreases, so I did that. I actually made it longer than the pattern says to do, but I think it worked out really well. I think it's a good length, covers ears, goes down a little past ears. I really hate short where things are up on your ears. What's the point in wearing a hat at that point? For warmth, not for style. So for works in progress, I have, even though I was not super feeling any of my projects, I still managed to make a really good amount of progress. This is Cog in the Machine, patterned by me, and last week I was telling about how I had finished this. Did I tell this on the podcast or did I say it on Instagram? Let's see where my stitch marker was. No, I did. I said it on Instagram. So last week I was here going into section 2 and now I'm in section 3. And I wasn't sure if I should get another ball of this gray to do section 3 or if I should go with this yellow and green. So I asked the ladies at the knit shop who went with the yellow and green. This yarn is Ba Yarns Sonoma. The gray yarn is Baba Black Sheep. This yellowy, greeny, gray color is Dirty Martini. And the shawl is growing. I think I might need to put it on bigger needles soon. Oh yes, look at those stitches drop off the end. But it's kind of at a point that I really, really like the number of stitches per needles right now because they're bunched up enough that they just flow off, but not so bunched off that they fall off. So probably next time you see it, it will be on a bigger cord. But I like working with things kind of tight on the cords. It works better for me. It's going to be so pretty. And you can't see any of it. At the end of the month, you probably will. I did say that last week my goal was to get through section 2, which I did. I'm going to attempt to get through section 3 this week. Section 3 is quite a big section. So this is section 2 from here to here. Section 3 is that long plus a half again, and it's increasing stitches every 2 rows. So I'm going to try really hard to get to the end of section 3 this week so that all I have to do is, I think, some transition rows and then the border, which is going to take a long time, but hopefully not more than a week. A shawl in a month, that's the goal. And that is in my Girl Caves bag, which needs to be washed. I don't know what got spilled on it, but something got spilled on it right here. I need to wash all of my bags. I said that last week too, didn't I? At the end of the month, that is on my to-do list. I also worked on the Baby Diamond Legs by Lisa K. Ross. This is out of Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer in Blush. It's got shinies in it. I almost doubled the length this week. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do maybe 2 more repeats and then do the cuff for the bottom for the girls. For the one girl who is receiving a pair of these for Christmas. I think that should be a good length. I barely did any work on the cat socks. I did a little. This is maybe 1.5 inches. So from here down, but then Kalisha of Quirky Monday, I watched her episode and she's hosting the Pisces Make Along, which starts on February 19th, I think. And the idea is to make anything Pisces related, so watercolors works, and this is most definitely watercolored. So I set this aside because whips are allowed, but not more than 50%, and I knew that if this was what I was carrying around, I was going to make a ton of progress. So I'm basically setting this aside until the 19th and then going to town working on this sock project because it's just stockinette in the round forever until I use up this ball of yarn or stop at a stripe sequence. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. So yeah, I'm going to get going on this in a few days. This will be really good for work knitting, which is why a ton of it will get done. I think because I set this aside is why I made the dishcloths instead, because this would be my like dishcloth knitting equivalent. So I crochet dishcloths instead. And this is in my Hooks by Happenstance mermaid bag, in my Stockinette Zombies goodie bag made by Amy's mom. I don't remember the shop name. I said it last week. It's just not in my head today. I have my gloves, and I actually made a lot of progress on the gloves because I did the toe of the second Tootsie Roll sock, and I started a new sock toe up, which I'll show you in a moment. So I have made so much progress on these. This is where I was last week, this marker right here. And I am currently in the thumb gusset, but look at that beautiful cable pattern. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. So this cable pattern is the part that takes the most thought. Which I don't mind. But now it's going to a repeat it's going to a part where all I have to worry about is thumb gusset and working out of this pattern, making it all go to stockinette. So then it'll be stockinette up the hand and then stockinette fingers. I'm not excited about making the fingers, but I am super excited about this pair of gloves. I did make an alteration to the pattern. This ribbing right here is only supposed to be, I think, an inch before you go into the cabling. I like a really long cuff on my gloves, especially because I don't wear a coat unless I have to. I wear hoodies a lot, and hoodies are great, but my wrists get really cold. So I made that longer by probably 2 inches. And I did not follow the instructions on where to start going stockinette on the palm, just because I forgot. Because I was ribbing and I got caught up in the ribbing, and then 10 rounds into the chart, it's like, oh, those 10 rounds were not supposed to be ribbed. I was not ribbing back 10 rounds to fix ribbing. So if this ribbing ends up sitting on my palm a little bit, it's not going to bother me. I don't care, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to sit right here at the base of my hand, judging by how many gusset increases I still need to do. The yarn that I'm using for this project is Marigold Gen in a Stellina base. The colorway is Copper Patina. I love this color. I'm super excited that these gloves are going to be for me and not for somebody else. I mean, obviously this skein of yarn was in my personal stash that I don't share with people. It's just going to be so beautiful. I'm super excited for these. So the work in progress that is not spinning, I'm going to talk about spinning at the end of work in progress chatter. I started another pair of socks. A pen pal and she knits also, but she knits mostly dishcloths and scrubbies and things. And I was like, well, why don't we do a swap? I'll make you a pair of shorty socks and you can send me some scrubbies, because I hate making scrubbies, but that's her jam. And I love making shorty socks. So, and she has tiny feet. She wears a size 5.5 to 6 US. I wear a size 8, 8.5. So her feet are a whole inch shorter than mine. I am making, shocker, it's my favorite right now, Scraposaurus socks. That's the not pretty side. That's where the color changes. This is the pretty side. This part is going to be on the bottom of the foot. So nobody sees that except for us right now. So this is the top of the sock. The yarns that I'm using are Premier Serenity sock in black and white. And then this red in the middle is a leftover from a bag of leftovers from Josh. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the fiber content is. Hopefully it'll be fine in socks. I don't know anything about it, except that the lady who I traded with likes the color red, and I don't have red in my stash. I don't even have a lot of red in my minis stash. So, and I know that I have some red, not in the ZK minis because that's for a different project. I know that I have some red that I used for Josh's bridgeback socks. I have 2 skeins. I have a sparkle skein and a non-sparkle skein, and I don't know where either of them are. So I just went with this yarn and hope it'll work out. I am almost to the heel. I think I have, let's see, let's measure. Oh yeah, maybe I need to go to right below this knuckle. So I'm thinking 1 or 2 more rounds and I will be starting the heel. These socks are so tiny. tiny human feet. I'm just going to put a fish lips kiss heel in them because that is what I've been measuring for, and that's what the pattern calls for, is a short row heel. So I'm going to use fish lips kiss when I do that, and I would like to get these finished this month so that I can send them out for part of NaCoWriMo, which is going really well, but I've run out of addresses of people to write on the Bright side. Some of my pen pals have written me back, so I'm just going to write them 2 letters and count each letter separate for the month. I'm sure that counts for NaCoWriMo. That's my plan. So I want to get these socks out to her because she sent me scrubbies earlier this month or late last month. I don't remember. I think it was late last month. So that is my plan for these socks, and I should put them down and show you my spinning now. Except I just want to get to the end of the round. It's only 3 stitches away. There we go. I had to fudge with some stitch markers there. That's why 3 stitches took forever. Okay, so spinning. I am doing very well this week at keeping up with my 30 minutes of spinning on Karen's yarn, but that's buried under my other spin that I started because obviously I needed to start another spin on my wheel because I haven't played on my wheel in a while. So this is what it looks like. The yarn is spinning pretty thin. I think it's going to be like a fingering to sport 2-ply. I am fractally spinning it, which means that I took my braided fiber and I split it in half. So this is half. I'm going to spin this half just as it comes in the braid. Oh, let's tell you about the yarn since I have the tag up. So, or the fiber. This is Direful Yarns in the colorway Jack's Lament, and it's super wash merino, super, super soft. Love it. So this is the first, or well, I guess it's going to be the second half because this is not the part that I'm spinning. The first half looked just like this, minus being, braided in, because why would I braid it just to unbraid it, to split it. And then I split it into 5 slivers of varying widths, but about this width. One of them was much skinnier. So this part will have lots of little blips of color. And I braided them end to end so the color repeat would be the same. Obviously this is a pretty variegated fiber. So I could have just spun them as they came or whatever, but I wanted them to be end to end as they go. So I have this much to go on the first half. And again, I'm planning on working on this for the Pisces make along. I am not going to be 50% of the way there, even if I spin on it today. I don't have a time limit for this. It's kind of just until I get frustrated because I've spun successful yarn on my wheel before. I've not spun on my wheel in over a year, I want to say. Maybe I took her to the beach last year. I don't think so. I think it was 2 years ago that she came to the beach with me. So yeah, it's been a while since I've spun on my wheel, and I'll get into a rhythm and I'll be going, and then I guess I overthink it, and the ply breaks, and it's fine. Just find the ply again. After like the second or third time that the ply breaks, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm gonna take a break, which is fine. But I'm definitely gonna be working on this during the Pisces make along because this looks like ocean with moonlight to me. And for my Karen spin, this is my second turtle. I know last week I was just popping the first turtle off, right? This is what 30 minutes a day looks like. I'm approaching 50% of my fiber, but I'm not there yet. By my calculations, I will hit 50% of fiber spun on the morning of the 19th. So this will also work in the Pisces make along spin because, well, not this one. This one doesn't look much like anything. It is a little bit greenish, but I think in the last ball you can really see it's got like seaweedy greens and oceany purples and blues and this kind of sandy yellowy orange color. So I think this will also fit into that spin make along, that make along. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. I was less than a third of the way through fiber last week when I said I was going to weigh it. I don't remember exactly how much, but I'm approaching 50%. I'll be there or just under by the time the make along starts, which means that it counts. And even after I spin all of the fiber, I still have to apply it. So it's less than 50% of the work. This week in reading, I have been all about playaways. And I'm listening to an audiobook in my car. I've listened through, I think I was on disc 2 maybe last week, 1 or 2. I think I just put in disc 6 yesterday. I will definitely be hitting disc 7, maybe all the way through today because my dad's property is about an hour away. So an hour there, an hour back, I'll be listening to that. It is the stories from Dreamsongs. The title's written in the description below, by George R.R. Martin. Last week I was talking about how the first 2 narrators I did not like. And that's true. But as they went on, I enjoyed the other narrators better. And one of the first narrators came back and narrated a story later, and I liked it better. I think it was just the story plus the narrator for that second narrator. The first narrator, I still don't. He hasn't come back on the CDs, and I hope he doesn't. But I've enjoyed the stories on the other one. Also, George R.R. Martin wrote a lot of sci-fi, and sci-fi is not my jam. Epic fantasy is my jam. So I've been really enjoying the fantasy heavy stories, even if they have sci-fi elements, more than the sci-fi heavy stories. It's fine. I feel like at this point I'm committed to hearing it, and I am enjoying the stories for what they are. There is merit to listening, but I really just want to get through it so that I can listen to The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, which is going to be the next audiobook I listen to on CD in my car. But in playaway version, I have been listening to, you can't even see what it says, Enchantment by Orson Scott Card. I picked it up because I know the author's name, even though I don't agree with his politics. At least I know that I have read some of his science fiction. I read Ender's Game, right? This is Orson Scott Card? Pretty sure. I'm going to say it is. If I'm wrong, then you get to see me mix up authors. It's fine. I've read Ender's Game. I've read the second book in that series, and that's where I stopped. But his writing style is okay. And this is a fantasy story instead of a sci-fi story. So that's exciting. It is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, kind of, except Sleeping Beauty kicks butt. And it's a Russian fairy tale. And instead of fairies placing the curse on her, Baba Yaga places the curse on her. So it's very cool seeing like that whole mythology play out in this story. And this book is Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. I probably mispronounced that. I picked this up because I listened to the previous book in this series or duology, I don't know, last summer or the summer before. I don't remember. I listened to it while walking at the beach. So whenever I was doing that. And it's about werewolves. I like werewolves. I picked it up just because I was looking through the young adult playaways and I saw the first book and then I saw that there was this book and I was like, well, okay, I'll listen to that. It's not like the best werewolf stories that I've ever read, but good enough. Mostly I listen to it in the parent pickup line so that I don't have to have my car running or have the car battery running for the hour that I'm waiting in the pickup line. So that's how I've been getting through so many playaways. I have just barely read my physical books. I'm going to make a concerted effort to read them because they're both due on the 19th and today is the 16th. Both of the Hygge books. I'm going to make a concerted effort to finish those so I can turn them in. Hopefully that will happen because I have a couple other fiction books that I want to, in physical form, that I want to read that are coming up on their due dates soon. By soon, I mean like in a month. And still have to read the Once and Future King. It's sitting on my table in front of me, waiting for me to pick it up, and I'm just not picking it up. That's awful. Okay, I will see you in about a week. Bye.